Time is 18:41.
Oh, can you, yeah, just turn down your speed.
Oh,
because I thought we were.
What's that?
That.
You mute your speaker on that?
Yeah. It keeps reverting back.
Well, I got some. Yeah. Sorry.
It was so much easier when they had drones, they used,
Smoke signal?
you know. Although with today's police system, it's,
You have to file the variable smoke.
Such straight up, that's the big any other.
Yeah, you're allowed to have AI.
Oh, there you go.
It is your saying.
We'll do AI for drones. Send out the drone fleet.
We went to Google last week, and we were talking about how a ChatGPT search term takes 4 times as much energy as a Google search.
And it's
really?
100 times better.
Okay.
Well, they're looking at putting the next.
As I was saying, 18:42 on June 26th. We're going ahead and kick this off.
Center in space.
Gentlemen, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. First order of the business to establish quorum. No one's missing, right? We have everybody.
Yeah, everybody, Rebecca.
Rebecca's online. Heather's on. All right, let's see. First up, quorum established. We got everybody. President's report. I just got a couple things to talk about. One, for the past month, kind of a month in review of the security. Luther's been doing some really good things.
Yeah.
This month.
Yeah.
We put the chain across the parking lot starting at 11 p.m. at night. That's stopped a lot of stuff happening in the parking lot, but not a lot of stuff elsewhere. We've had a lot of problems at the pool with mostly youth from the community jumping the fences and things like that. And even when they're told not to, they kind of just disregard the forces. Fortunately, one of them left their fob behind, so we were able to locate that family and address that. That was great. Still issues in the gym with people not understanding the age restrictions in there. 16 and older with an adult, right?
No.
16 and older is okay.
Is okay. 16 and older is considered an adult in the gym. 14 and older with an adult.
Yeah.
Under 14 is not allowed to work out in the
Yeah.
gym, and no guests are allowed in the gym. And that's just to keep it from being overwhelmed with people that aren't members of this HOA. We have a nice gym. Let's see, we have seen some pretty wild things this month, security wise, everything from, Luther's doing it, man. He's pulling cats out of sewers. He is catching
Knife
dogs,
fight.
but then recently we did have a knife fight in one part of the community. Luther got involved, diffused it until the cops showed up, so that was really nice. I mean, I don't want to sound alarmist. It was a bunch of kids fighting. One kid pulled a knife. The other kid saw Luther on patrol, ran over to him and said, "Hey, this guy's gonna stab somebody. Can you help us?" And Luther went over and broke it up. So,
And took away the knife.
yeah, so he took away the knife. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
our security forces doing great things, keeping people where they need to be.
Is
There
this
is,
the armed?
I'm sorry?
Is
No, no, just with his courage and good wit.
Speed.
If anybody's listening, if anybody has kids in the neighborhood, please talk to your kids about, respecting Luther. There are some kids that go around intentionally harassing him and following him in their car and flashing their lights at him and things like that. So we want to avoid that. But other than that, I think things are going pretty good in that regard. That's just the only thing I want to talk about. Treasurer's report, you're up next.
Yeah, I think this is probably worth talking about at the board setting, but
Okay.
the aspect of the bookkeeping firm.
Yeah, let's table talking about the bookkeeping to the main body of the meeting, and let's just, how are we doing overall financially?
Overall financially, we're on our projections, but I think biggest thing that you brought it up last week, we need to start doing the processing for next year. Because
Mhm.
that does take quite a bit. So getting the committees together so we can start looking at how we did this year on our projections versus what we want to project next year.
Yeah.
So from like current we're doing well. There's some areas that have been good, some areas that have been bad, but overall they've balanced to be a couple percentage of our projections. So
Great. Sounds good. Let's see. Other officers report, Vice President, anything tonight? Nope. And Secretary, anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Wonderful, sir. Let's see. We have the South Hillsborough Pipeline presentation. Let's go through the community manager's report, knock that out real quick.
Okay,
Stop.
I got it.
You got it.
You want to read it?
Go for it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, well, getting me. Community update. Over the past month, a total of 5 amenity violations have been issued, resulting in suspensions ranging from 15 to 45 days, depending on the nature of the violation and whether it was a repeat offense. The maintenance team has installed nearly all the new landscaping lighting with only 2 fixtures remaining, These are ground uplights located throughout the front and back of the lake house. The pool has been actively enjoyed by residents with an average daily usage ranging between 115 to 185 guests a day. So that's good. We're using the amenities that we have. Reserve study, the reserve study report is expected next week for review. Once received, we'll share it with the board for discussion. Cleaning services, a new cleaning company will begin service on June 2nd, which has already happened. And I'm gonna say the rest of that because we're optimistic about a fresh start, but it's already started. The next meeting, landscaping initiative, the next community meeting is scheduled for July 31st. Prior to that, I've arranged to meet with representatives from UFIFAS Extension Office to explore potential sites for a Florida-friendly landscaping proposal. One area under consideration is near the dog park statues located in the common. So we'll have more of that for the next meeting. All right, that's it for the notes.
Great. Let's do the pipeline presentation next.
All right. So if you want to give him the ability to share.
He'll request it and then she can just approve it.
I did. Mhm. How much you put on? Okay.
You see the same presentation.
It's coming through.
Yeah, it's working on it.
Here we go. You're good to go.
Good evening, my name is Justin Fox.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah,
Just so that
absolutely.
everyone- Thank you.
Well, you can pick me up. Our goal tonight is going to give you an update on this project. We've been working on this project since 2017 and have met with your community on several occasions, especially the CDE. So we're bringing this to your board tonight just as an informational item for you. First up, a little bit about who Tampa Bay Water is. We are a state entity that just does drinking water. We are the regional supplier for the Tri-County area, which includes Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pinellas counties, and then the cities of Newport Richey, Tampa, and St. Petersburg. Those entities in turn will take that water and sell it on to their residential and commercial customers. So we originate that water for the wholesale. We are a non-for-profit governmental entity and have been in our current state as Tampa Bay Water since 1998. These are, as we said, our member governments. We do serve in total a little over 200 million gallons of drinking water every day. And that's to about 2.6 million customers in the Tri-County area. Right now, we have enough water to meet our region's drinking water needs for the next 7 years. But our region's growing, and as the region grows, so does the need for drinking water. So we are developing new water supplies to come online in 2028 and then again in 2033 to continue to meet the need of the growing area. I do want to note that Tampa Bay Water is not a growth entity. That is your county commission. We just meet the needs as the county requests them. Okay. So this pipeline is important for Hillsborough County especially. Their current distribution system needs to be expanded to meet the growth, especially in the southern Hillsborough County area. The Hillsborough County is planning to put a future drinking water facility in Balm, which is going to be near the intersection of Balm Riverview, Balm Road, Balm Boyette Roads. We need to be able to service that new water treatment facility with the pipeline. This is what this pipeline is going to be doing. Pipeline will be 26 miles long and is going to range in size from 3 feet to 5 feet in diameter, 36 to 60 inches in diameter. The route starts at our regional facility site, which is shown on this map by a blue box in the top left of the map. It's going to go through Brandon, Bloomingdale to Boyette Road, where it heads east to the Lithia Water Treatment Plant. And then it's going to continue south to Hillsborough County's new future drinking water facility site near 672. Pipeline route was approved by Tampa Bay Water's Board of Directors and requested by Hillsborough County in its current state. The total estimate for this job is $505 million, which includes some county infrastructure. Estimated cost will be updated when the final design of this pipeline has been completed and approved. Pipeline is broken into two segments. Segment A of the pipeline is being funded by Tampa Bay Water and the Southwest Florida Water Management District. And Tampa Bay Water has already received $4.5 million from Southwest Florida Water Management District. And then earlier this year, we got a new agreement for an additional $147 million from SWIP Fund. Hillsborough County is paying for segment B, which is gonna, is estimated cost about $84 million. We know that you're most concerned about this project as it affects your homes and community here. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the roads and impacts. We're gonna start at the intersection of McMullen Road and Boyette Road. There's gonna be a tunnel at that intersection. Then we'll be open cutting east along the westbound lanes of Boyette Road. This is gonna be able to maintain two-way traffic on Boyette at all times, primarily using the eastbound lanes with one lane for eastbound and one for westbound. This will be a moving construction area as it goes down the road, so that won't stay in any one place any length of time, but it will be steadily advancing as we move down the road. This is going to continue westbound lanes of Boyette Road until it reaches a tunnel on the west side of Bell Creek. This tunnel is going to extend from the west side of Bell Creek to the east side of Bell Shoals Road. From there, it's going to continue east onto Fishhawk Boulevard. We're always going to maintain that two-way traffic on Fishhawk, primarily using the westbound lanes with one for eastbound and one for westbound.
What's the timeline for that construction? Because that's gonna create a huge traffic change.
There's gonna be a lot of impacts. Can I come to your question at the end?
Sure.
Okay. So then continuing on Fishhawk, east of Osprey Ridge, the pipeline is going to shift back into the eastbound lane of Fishhawk for approximately 2,000 feet, and then south again out of Fishhawk Boulevard. There's going to be a temporary drive lane that will be added to the westbound lane of Fishhawk Boulevard. Again, we're going to try to maintain that two-way traffic through that segment as it goes through. The route crosses with a tunnel. And then goes to Hillsborough's Lithia Water Treatment Plant, which is located behind the high school there. Just to give you a reference of where that endpoint is. Segment B starts as a T connection off of the pipeline in Fishhawk Boulevard east of Hometown Lane. Following the blue line, the route heads south along the eastern edge of Fishhawk Ranch Community Development District along the trail and continues cross country to Boyette Road. Oops. The trail will be closed while construction is ongoing in that area and will last for about 6 months in that area. The pipeline will then be tunneled underneath Boyette Road and continue south. Based on comments from the residents who live in this area, we were able to revise the alignment which travels behind Fishhawk Ranch West north of Boyette Road. The new alignment, which still requires approval, follows an unpaved trail with a construction easement. If approved, that new alignment will reduce impacts to trees since it takes advantage of a previously altered pathway. The route is also shorter, so it will have a lower construction cost and reduce total time impact to residents. The new route also minimizes impacts to Boyette Road as it's adjacent to existing Tampa Bay Water easement there on Boyette, and will then cross Boyette via tunnel. In order to move forward with that alignment, the project team must acquire easements from Fishhawk Ranch Community Development District, CDD, and from Hillsborough County. We do want to thank residents of Fishhawk for their input in helping us to refine that portion of the pipeline. Moving on, the pipeline turns east on Boyette Road before tunneling and heading south along the west side of Boyette Road in the easement until it crosses Boyette again with a tunnel to the east side. This route continues past Rodine Road and crosses Boyette Road again with a tunnel south. From that tunnel, it heads through an easement and turns east, crossing Ball and Boyette Road with another tunnel, and then continuing south along the east side of Ball and Boyette Road. The pipeline continues south along the east side of Bonvoyette Road until it crosses back into Hillsborough County's future drinking water facility property, which is north of County Road 672. That's going to be the southern end. We want to give you some general information about the types of pipelines and how they're going to be installed. Before construction begins, we have to dewater the area where trenches and tunneling bits will be excavated. We do this by installing shallow wells that are connected to a small diameter temporary pipeline that'll direct water away from the construction area. The wells are pumped continuously to dewater those areas. Dewatering systems must run 24 hours a day until construction in that area is complete. These systems include noise minimizing diesel pumps and small diameter temporary pipelines to direct water away from the construction areas so that tunnel bits and shafts can be safely built. Once an area is dewatered, then excavation can begin. Crews will install the South Hillsborough pipeline using open cut and trenchless or tunneling construction methods. Broken cut construction crews will use heavy equipment to excavate trenches in which they will place boxes to keep their crews safe while installing the pipe segments. After the pipe is installed, crews will remove the trench boxes and backfill those trenches. If roads are disturbed during construction, a temporary drivable surface will be placed. Once construction is complete, all disturbed roadways will be repaved and restriped. All construction areas will be restored to the same or better conditions than before construction began. Pipe installation being open cut, it will progress in a roughly 3-block roll of closure. With this closure, only local traffic will be allowed, no through traffic. Block lengths vary depending on the intersecting streets and the overall geography of the area and those normal traffic patterns. However, we're roughly defining a block as 500 feet. The forward yellow block will be for preparation work such as saw cutting pavement, locating utilities, installing dewatering well points and staging materials. The center red block is where active trenching and pipe installation activities are going to take place. And then the back green block is for restoration activities such as restoring curbs, sidewalks, driveways, asphalt pavement, and grass. Trenchless construction is basically tunneling under roads and waterways using special equipment and special construction techniques. This allows us to cross roadways and waterways with less impact to those roads and environmental features. If a tunnel boring machine is used, pits are excavated on each side of the crossing, whether that's a road, a river, a stream, a railroad. And then a tunnel boring machine is placed in one pit and tunnels to the other, installing the pipeline while simultaneously excavating. This operation will stay in place until the tunneling is completed. We know the project will have temporary impacts to the community, which is why we're here today. There will be traffic impacts, such as those lane closures we discussed earlier and detours, all of which will be clearly marked and noticed in advance. Maintaining access to homes and businesses is a priority. Construction is noisy and dusty, but we will have noise abatement practices in place, and we'll use water trucks to control dust. So, thanks, Paul. There could be some short-term service interruptions for water or sewer if we have to relocate any of those utilities, but those impacted residents will be notified in advance, and they will only last for a few hours at a time. Please be assured we'll make every effort to minimize those impacts to you and the community, and as construction approaches your neighborhood, we will be keeping you fully informed. Even before construction begins, you may notice some work occurring along the pipeline. This may be surveyors who are identifying existing utilities, or maybe workers clearing trees or trimming tree canopies where construction will eventually take place. If any properties are directly adjacent to the pipeline route, prior to the start of construction in your area, the construction team will offer you a pre-construction interior and exterior survey of your home. These inspections include video, photographic, and written documentation of your properties before condition. You will receive a certified letter from our seismic surveyor, which is the company performing these surveys. We encourage you to take advantage of those pre-inspections. Here's our project schedule. Right now, engineers are working on the 100% design plans, while Tampa Bay Water and its land agents are negotiating with property owners on temporary and permanent construction easements. Construction is scheduled to begin in just a few months, pending final design, property acquisition, and permitting. In your area, we are tentatively slated to tunnel under Boyette Road, Little Fishhawk Creek, and Fishhawk Creek in October of this year. We will start open cut construction beginning at the north end of this section in March of 2026. However, this sequence and timing could change. For example, we can begin at the south end and work our way north. We'll keep you informed once the schedule is firmed up. Construction will continue through 2028, and the pipeline is scheduled to be in service by December of 2028. We also wanted to let you know about an open house we'll be holding in your area. This is specifically for road and lane closures exceeding 30 days duration for construction of the Southwest Road pipeline. The meeting for sections 4 and 5, which are shown in gray on this map and red on this map, will be on Wednesday, July 16th at St. Stephen's Church. This is an open house style meeting, so you can drop in anytime between 6 and 7:30. There are no road or lane closures longer than 30 days expected south of Boyette Road. If you cannot attend this meeting in person, you can still learn about the closures and provide input by going to southhillsborough-pipeline.com/closure-survey. The Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners would consider these closures at their August 6th meeting. For more information, or if you have any other questions, you can contact us at the phone number shown here. Send an email to shpinfo@tampabaywater.org or visit the project website at southhillsborough-pipeline.com. Also, the best way to stay up to date on the project, including getting the latest information, detours, and construction, is to sign up for email alerts at southhillsborough-pipeline.com/contact. Thank you, and if you have any questions, our team is happy to answer them now, but first, let me introduce who is here with me today. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Justin Fox, representing Tampa Bay Water. In the back here, we have Sully Rojas, who is our project manager, Jared Park with Stantec, who is our design engineer, and then we have Sam, Kyle, and who am I missing? What's that? And Miles, right, in the corner. And then Diane is all the relations here. So, if you have a question I can't answer, I may kick it to one of them. For that. So, you have a question about timing along Boyette?
Not along, well, Boyette down to Fishhawk all the way down to the high school. So how,
Okay.
because I don't know if any of you are in the area, but if you live in this area, taking that road down to one lane is ludicrous. We've spent 5 years waiting for them to expand. But what is it, Bell Shoals? That was a nightmare. You want to take your commute and double it? You just did that for every resident that lives south of McMullen. For how many years?
The overall project will be until the end of 2028. However, we're not working that entire time along there.
What is scheduled for that route?
You recall, Sam, looked through.
From McMullen all the way to to the water to Newsom, which is where the water is, right? So the road interruption. Because we go from 2 lanes down to 1 lane when you get to Wawa, or actually past our little subdivision here.
Right.
And if you've ever done this when school's in, you have 2 schools, you have Bell Shoals Academy and Bell Creek. Good luck. Trying to get out of here takes a half an hour with 2 lanes. You're gonna go down to 1 lane and all those people going in and out of those schools. What are you doing for that?
So the maintenance and traffic plans are currently still being developed. This, to answer your question on timing, the first act, it's gonna be a phased approach, so it's not gonna be the whole distance all at once. The first activities you're gonna see are the trenchless installations, which are scheduled to start this fall. And then open cut activities will start after the first of the year. You can expect to see construction activity in various phases along that stretch, midway through 2028.
So for 3 years, we're gonna have 1 way in and 1 way out with 1 road, because there is no other way in or out.
Long portion of the, not the entire stretch. Yes.
That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible because there's no way in and out of here. When Bell Shoals was under construction, that's one of the only 3 ways in, right? Lithia Pinecrest, Bell Shoals are all the way out to McMullen. You're taking one of those away you're gonna go down to 1 lane in each direction. This little area right here, not even south of us, is 1,200.
Uh,
So I mean, you're taking people's lives and turning them upside down for this, for 3 years. And then you've got two schools where you're gonna be boring through underneath where the two schools are at. On the other side, because you got the Wawa, so I'm assuming you're gonna do it where the 7-Eleven is, and then there's nothing on the other side.
Right, we're going from, basically, there's gonna be a pit in front of the 7-Eleven in the eastbound lanes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's gonna tunnel from there all the way to the west side of Bell Creek.
So that area there is where most of the people drop their kids off for Bell Creek Academy. So you're gonna have a whole bunch of kids also trying to get through that intersection during construction.
The reason that we made that, we designed that as a tunnel was to help mitigate traffic.
But there's also gonna be kids in an open construction area with people coming to pick them up. And I welcome any of you to come when school is in. And go at 7 o'clock in the morning and try to get out of this subdivision in under a half an hour past that road.
The stretch you're talking about, there will be traffic diversions there, but the active construction will be on either side of it. Because the tunnel will not have any impact within that area.
But when we close down to 1-lane road, how are you gonna do a 1-lane road when you have two schools on either end trying to get in and out?
I understand, appreciate your concern. This route which goes the county. And
How many people from the county came out here and actually drove it? Right? It's really easy to look at a map and say, yeah, we're gonna do this, and without any forethought to the impact on people's lives. And to do that for such a major stretch, and the only major road that takes you in and out of these neighborhoods. To go down to 1 lane for 3 years. I think there's gotta be a better way.
yeah, it's not gonna be the full 3 years, it's gonna be phased, but I hear you and I appreciate.
Even if it's 2 years, even if it's 1 year. You're taking the only major in and out road for all of these communities down to 1 lane. You're never gonna be able to get in and out of here. People go to work, people go to McDill, people go all over the place. I think there has to be more forethought to that.
So I will, we're gonna open up to comments online. The gentleman and lady that are here today, it's important to note that they are not the decision makers. They are here carrying the information to us. If somebody wants to affect the decision makers, would you put the slide back up with the meeting time and place, please? Thanks, sir. Thank you. So section 4 and 5 is Wednesday, July 16th, correct? So section 5 is the area in red. And then the area in yellow, which goes behind Fishhawk West. When is that meeting for section 6?
That one does not need a formal public meeting because it's not.
No lane closures.
Okay,
There's no road closure. Yeah.
This is specific.
It's the gray and red.
County has an
Got it.
ordinance, and anytime you're asking for a road closure over 30 days, you just have to follow the. So because of
That's
that,
the
I'm
meeting.
asking for road closures for those sections south.
Yep.
You don't have to-
so to affect the decision makers, July 16th at St. Stephen's Church is the place you need to be. Is the entire pipeline going to be underground, or will there be portions of it that are exposed, so permanently going to be above ground?
99% is below ground.
Okay,
We will have sections that have plants and other, very minor places that come up, but the idea is the public forgets all about this once it's in the ground.
sure.
The only thing that you are gonna notice is your water pressure is going back up, and you're not having water trouble. So,
And I will add too that the necessity for this pipeline, which by the way, I don't like, I'm not a fan of this. Comes from the fact that construction has exploded in this area. So if you really want to affect this, the people that you vote for in November, appoint the people that approve the construction. So that is where you can really affect things like this in the future.
I did mention that, just want to review that Tampa Bay Water has no authority to stop or hold up or delay development. Or the way we are governmentally structured is Hillsborough County is one of our customers, well, the 6 I showed you, if they request that water, we're required to deliver that to them. We cannot refuse that. It's gonna be your counties and your cities that you can have development concerns, you gotta bring to their attention.
Are there any other questions from board members or anyone in the room or anyone online? In the room, you can raise your hand. Online, just come off of mute.
Is this information available in there?
It is, this is also available on our website, which is at southhillsboropipeline.com. We've got lots of information articles from there.
And anyone online questions? I see no one coming off mute, so. This is the chance. Anyone can think of any questions that someone in the community might have. Let's see. Let me look at the Facebook page.
I asked them.
Well,
I don't have a particular question, Mark. This is Rebecca. I don't have a particular question, but I definitely would, second Kevin's recommendation to have those that are designing the road closures and the lanes and the traffic to come to this area, when school's in between 7 in the morning and 8:45, because it literally already with the roads as they are currently take 30 to 40 minutes to get out of the neighborhood today without those road closures. So I think the design of that is going to be really important.
Yeah, it's really school in and school out. When they see it.
is construction going to be done at night or day?
Daytime? So you're not gonna do any overnight?
It's good. There are some sections along the route that we're gonna have to do it at night, but this stretch is not that nice. The shut that much for the route, and it's gonna be Monday through Saturday.
For 3 years.
It would be better if it was at night. Yeah, it would affect the community less. I don't know if anyone has any say in recommending that. I assume that comes into paying construction workers more for working overnight or something, but.
The issue is, part of the issue is the size and scope of this project, it's a 5-foot magnet pipe, you can imagine the size of it, but talking about it is, it's not feasible to pull everything off the road, and open it back up, they're not working hours. So even if we work at night, you're still gonna have closures in place.
Tracking.
It's a huge excavation, huge equipment.
Right.
It's a dirt moving product.
No, I get it, but there's nowhere to put a detour.
Yeah.
There's only one road in and one road out. There's no detour. There's nowhere for anybody in this community or the community south of us to get around it.
I mean, you're talking.
Well, right there wasn't a detour. There's something on Fishhawk Boulevard that's a detour, but not right where you're talking about.
No, especially if you go towards Newsom. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking one of the biggest high schools in Hillsborough.
That's where
And you're
some,
cutting
that's where it
off
had a
6,000 homes to the west. They have no way to get to the school at all.
Yeah,
Right,
but
and on a rainy day, literally my kids have missed class for the first 2 periods because it took them an hour to go from literally this subdivision to Newsom, and now you're gonna, and
There's no way around.
there's no way for the kids can't spend 2 hours in the car to get to school and to get home. That's just not realistic. So I know it's not your decision and I will be at that meeting because obviously somebody has not come and driven out here to make a decision.
But I think what you were trying to say is that meeting may not be what we're thinking that meeting is.
You're
Like the decision makers aren't at that meeting, right?
gonna have people like me.
Yeah, that's what I was
So there's no decision makers at that meeting either.
No, they have. Why would they do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Types, I think of what you're referring to, are gonna be filled. Yeah, I don't think they.
So I would encourage everybody online and everybody in this general vicinity to light up the Hillsborough County Commissioner's Office and give them help. Because they are elected public officials.
Yeah, it is gonna be a disaster. Yes. Because right now, to get from the circle on Boyette, or Boyette and Barrington Stores run into each other to the Wawa on the corner, which is maybe half a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right here, right? So this is
Basically
Boyette.
the yellow, yeah.
To get from this circle to this intersection here
It's half an hour.
is, it's about 30 minutes right now.
So you can
It's
double
because
that.
you have a school here and a school down here.
And there's a media too, so.
And then you have
Yeah,
2
half-
schools in
half
the
and
neighborhood
7.
on top of it.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 schools within a half a mile of each other.
All trying to go at the same time,
Right.
relative.
Yeah, I wonder.
And go during rush hour.
We have no busing options.
Right.
So unless you force the charter schools to get buses to alleviate traffic, there's no way. And then who's gonna
I
incur
don't
that
think that was
cost?
Mandarin's charter. They're
Right.
coming from everywhere,
Right.
right?
Someone asked a question online. Have you thought of the turtles? Are we aware of the turtles and what measures have been taken to protect?
Tortoises.
Tortoises, excuse me.
We're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Dover tortoises are protected here in Florida. Our teams are, looking at that. We will be doing, we've already done preliminary surveys on the burrows out there. Most of this is going to be temporary exclusion. Looking at your, yes, no, okay. So as they come through, with one of the permits that we are pursuing out of the mini permits for this type of a job is a temporary exclusion where we set those tortoises back off of their burrows as we pass by, and as we open up, then they come back and populate again. It's to make sure that we're not damaging, hurting them as we are going.
How are they gonna transverse your pipeline when it's under construction? Because they walk, my house backs up to the
When we say
reserve.
temporary exclusion, we have barriers set up on the sign. They are held back temporarily on until we move through, and then those come down, they can go. So.
Yeah, to second what Mr. Fox said and Kevin said, the elected officials are the ones that you should talk to. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, those are the ones that ultimately approve a lot of construction in the state. Those are the ones that you want to talk to. These are the places where you want to address your concerns. So that Mr. Fox and his team can design construction projects that meet the needs of the communities that already exist.
One more question. Who is it on the county board that you guys directly talk with about this project?
So we have two members of our board, and again, you go on our website and see all this public information. We have a total of 9 elected officials, 2 of which are from Baltimore County. And that is Commissioner Cohen and Commissioner Woostel. They are both our board members.
Owen and,
Woostel.
say that again, I'm sorry.
Woostel.
Woostel? Okay. WOST.
Yeah, it's WOSTAL. Don't go me, I'll have to look that thing,
Okay.
unless somebody back here knows that's going. Yeah, okay. Those are the two problems are you also?
No.
Okay. Those are our two Hillsborough County commissioners.
Okay.
And this, as we did mention earlier, this route was requested specifically by Hillsborough County, because it best suits the needs of their future plans out here as well. They did want a line running at the corner of McMullen and Boyette and coming out. And kind of like, what we have under many things, we've got fixed endpoints that we have to get to.
I understand.
It's trying to find that best route through there, and you're absolutely right, there's not many good ways to get.
No.
Down there. But what we are looking at is, it's a short-term thing.
3 years, I would not consider short-term, pardon me, but I don't consider
understand,
that
but
short-term.
this pipeline is a, nearly 100-year design. So,
Yeah.
in the time scales that we're talking, it's a much longer term game.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, McDill will have the input too. What percentage of the base population can't get to work for 3 years? Okay.
It's,
You mentioned the sewer interruptions. I would say that in your planning, we found out during the last hurricane how fragile our sewer infrastructure here is when literal sewage was coming up on our street. And so I'm not a sewer expert. I don't know how to fix that, but I would just caution you to be aware of how fragile that system is. And it took 5 days of no power for there to be sewage running through the street. So something to plan for. Any other questions? Or anyone online?
I just wanted to say thank you for them coming out and presenting to the community. I know that you guys probably get a lot of, a lot of feedback, even though you're not the decision makers, you're just, filling the bill. But I think it's been very helpful to understand this and appreciate you, coming out and spending the time with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
I just want to make sure, we keep mentioning the 3 years for Boyette for this project, but as Boyette is is worked on, is constructed on, and it moves on, that roadway will be restored and then open back up to 6 lanes, to the 2 lanes, correct?
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
The phase construction.
So there'll be areas that in 1 lane while
Yeah.
construction's happening, construction moves about 50 feet a day.
Yeah, but if, I mean, if you move,
It moves.
essentially you move.
You're still gonna have a bottleneck all the way down. Right.
I just wanna make sure you understand.
No, I understand that, but, right,
Yeah.
you'll have a bottleneck coming in and a bottleneck coming out, so either way, you're sitting in a bottleneck. And I would welcome anyone to come after 5 o'clock and go from 75 all the way down here and see how that, right, and, right, without school, it's not that bad. When school's in session and everybody's trying to get home, and on top of that, it's, again,
February, we went to a Thanksgiving church, and we were traveling back at the time, so.
yeah,
Even though it was a little bit here, we experienced it during COVID nineteen.
right, and I'm sure you will want to do that for a number of years. Right, so that's our concern. Again, speaking for the whole of the community and the people we represent, it's just, that's a lot to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, appreciate you very much.
Let's move on to the next thing here, which is violations. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 violations. The only one I'm curious about is the one for lawn maintenance in the middle of the list, where notice was just sent out on June 6th. And
Thank you again.
second was 6 days later. And then final issue was 4 days later. That's not, is this just a mow?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
tracking.
So they just haven't mowed it,
Mowed, edge,
weed whacked, yeah,
trimming the hedges.
that was the one that looked like a jungle in the
Which one you
picture.
talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that
wrong.
has been multiple.
5958.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tracking,
Yep.
okay. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, yeah, this was all in, they came ready to rumble. They brought us through.
At the CDD meeting, they did, they were like jumped on.
I heard about the free cookies.
So, okay,
They got your Culver secret.
Yeah.
motion to send all violations on violation list to the finding committee for follow-on action.
Thanks, seconds.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
One opposed, knock that out. All right, the next thing, committee reports. So I don't even have any committee reports, but we do need to get some committees together. So Jen, I saw the list that you put together of all our volunteers. That's fantastic. Could you, in this following month, start reaching out to people? And let's see what committee they're most interested in and start getting people signed in.
Yeah.
And then, because we did this before, we took a bunch of volunteers. We put them on committees, and then when the time came, I can't do it for XYZ reason, I'm out, and then we ended up with the same, no committees, right? Well, that's not fair, with the finding committee, they signed
Finding
around.
committee, they did.
Yeah, finding committee, and then there's, yeah, so it's helpful. Okay.
Just a thought, maybe if I partner with Jennifer and help her with those conversations,
That'd be great,
yeah,
yeah, I appreciate it,
Yeah. and we can work together on it.
wonderful. Meeting minutes from
That'll
May,
help us in the long run.
yes, sir, May 29th. Did everybody review the meeting minutes?
Yes.
yes,
Let's see here. All right, any issues with the meeting minutes?
No.
No.
Motion to approve meeting minutes from May 29th, second.
a second.
All right, anyone of the 3 seconds it? All in favor, aye? One opposed, motion carries. All right, new business, we had 2 appeals. So we have 5926 Cordero Ridge. Arc, appeal of Arc decision. This one, is this the
Yes.
stone pavers?
Yes.
Is this you, ma'am?
This is Jessica, you wanna come to the table? You're welcome. My feels so insignificant compared to the whole. It's really puts things in perspective, but.
If you have a way to fix the traffic, we'll approve everything for you right now. Just saying.
I reached out to Big Fish Hawk, and they have not had any presentation,
Yeah.
so there could be, did you heard about it, this is just a moment, but if we wanna hook up with them
Yeah.
and see if we can push that a little bit.
Yes. That's 7,500 homes. There's a lot of people who vote for your ass.
Yes.
Oh, and let's talk about this. It's a pathway or is it along the edge of the driveway?
So it is closer to the driveway. It's not in the middle of my lot or anything. It's maybe, I would say, less than a foot from the beginning of my driveway, on the left side of my driveway. I had pavers directly alongside the driveway back in 2020. I had asked, permission for it from our committee, and it was approved. And so I had that. So that was existing. So it's sort of shifting. If it makes sense, just because I'm sure when the driveways can be a little tight, and I have a boy that plays hockey and he comes out with his bag and his stick, and our cars are getting scraped, and the Amazon person's tripping, carrying the stuff up, and that sort of thing. So it's just shifted. I didn't move anything else or do anything
Is
else.
this in addition to the existing pavers, or did you?
No, those are gone.
Okay.
Those are gone. This is gonna be a new.
Is this- That's your house, I have the right address. Okay.
It's amazing. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Oh. Yeah.
Just putting pavers next to the drive.
Is that essentially, they're along the driveway or it's gonna go through that hedgerow?
So it's gonna go alongside, parallel to the driveway, just up to the front, so that there's just extra room because,
Starting at the sidewalk?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it would end at the side, the
Yes,
public
yeah.
sidewalk, and it would be flush with it.
It's gonna be like a stepping stone and then a stepping stone and then surrounded by gravel.
Yeah, I mean, it could be done numerous ways. It could be our driveway is not pavers.
Mhm.
And when I say pavers, I know that there's sort of like,
Yeah.
ours is concrete.
Mhm.
So I thought that would be the least, I guess, obtrusive way, just to have, some stepping stones rather than a whole entire, sort of paved
Mhm.
walkway, but I'm open to whatever. I just wanted, I want to go through the proper
Yeah,
channels.
no, we
and
appreciate that.
Yeah, I want us to be approved. I've lived here 10 years, so I want, to make sure I follow the rules. And so I'm open to anything. I mean, whatever. I tried to use the materials in the guidelines, specifically saying, what kind of paver or stone you could have. And then it mentioned river rocks. So in limited areas, so I put that, just because for stability purposes, our yard is on a grade. So
Yeah.
stones, it would be difficult to hold them in, and mulch, we've had mulch there before in a pond.
Are you gonna do it on both sides of the driveway?
No, sir, no,
Just on the side by the
just on
door?
the side by the door, just
And then
I'm trying to-
how far out did you want to come?
in terms of width,
Yeah.
not even 3 feet,
Oh.
so it would be pretty, it's just.
So it'd be normal, it would be the same as what.
Are you
most-
saying be like the front door walking out? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, but just alongside the driveway, not in the middle
Yeah,
of the
right.
lot or anything like that. You probably have seen it. Something like this. There's a lot of houses in the neighborhood that have something similar, especially like in the
Totally
Oaks.
understand.
Yeah, I have it in I have my
Yeah.
pavers on both sides of the driveway and then
Yes.
it's tacked the.
Yeah.
thing. So I get it. And I
The,
mean,
the right side is fine because there's no walkway,
Yeah.
needed.
You don't
kind of
need to,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just the other side.
So you're saying when both cars are parked there, it's hard to walk up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
like,
get it.
you know,
And what was the
Probably
reason for the
ours.
decline?
I'm sorry.
What was the feedback for the reason for the decline?
They said it didn't fit the aesthetic values, I believe. I can't remember exactly what it said, so it didn't really give me any kind of idea on how to change it or they can't give it. They discussed the I heard them Zoom, so they discussed the materials that I was going to use, and there seemed to be kind of a disagreement if you're allowed to have rocks or not. One gentleman stated that they get hot in lawnmowers, which wouldn't really pertain to me because it's not in the area where I would mow my lawn.
Are you opposed to, a lot of people do something like this? Are you opposed to an idea like that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Do you want to use the stone or would you use
The only
pavers?
thing that I was going to do was use stone because I don't have existing concrete pavers like that, and I personally think natural stone looks nicer, but that's just me, but
Yeah. I think probably the reason they declined it was the gravel.
Yeah.
area.
they said rock, so I had put that because it says in the guidelines where
Yeah.
rock would be used in limited areas.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's the only reason I put that specifically, just thinking that it would go along with what is allowed.
Mhm.
The one thing to be aware of with rock is you're gonna have a lot of weeds.
Yeah.
Even if, and I have it, I put down 4 layers of felt. And whatever monster weeds they have in Florida goes through everything. It does, you could
I
put
know.
down titanium and I think this stuff would still come
Yeah.
through.
The one
So,
thing you use a carpet, believe it or not, underneath, if you use like your old Amazon boxes,
Yeah.
it decomposes. It's actually good for the earthworms and it really prevents stuff from coming up. I try to use that in some of my beds under mulch and stuff.
I'm gonna try that now.
Just a quick tip. I mean.
Yeah, not take it.
works
'Cause
and- Yeah.
I hate pulling the weeds.
I mean, it's sort of like, I guess, the same issue I have with like our mulch beds, and you just have to keep up with the weeding.
Yeah. So your plan is to use these rocks here?
Well, something similar to that. I just provided that as an example of a picture.
I see.
Yeah,
They
it's
have them
just,
all stuck together, so it makes a pathway.
it's
continuous.
Yeah.
I can use as many or as few as you think. I mean, it would look really nice. It's
Yeah.
not anything that.
But it wouldn't be like perfectly like,
It won't be level because.
you'd have
the
ground,
stone-
and you'd see ground underneath is what she's saying. It wouldn't be like. look
Well,
like
that's why I was
paper.
gonna put rocks
Yeah,
in between,
So in between, you use like pea gravel, which is really small.
yeah.
or river rocks. They're
Yeah,
bigger.
well, pea
Yeah.
gravel is river rock, just really small.
Yeah, the larger ones, probably like a little bit larger. That's what our, landscaper had recommended, just for in terms of erosion, preventing that with the stones and stuff like that.
And your house is brown? Okay.
Like a Spanish brown,
Something like that.
similar.
I don't hate that.
There's been quite a few in the neighborhood, but I don't know, I don't wanna say that because I'm not in.
Looks good.
I know.
Stating that.
Rock is my
I don't know if they got
Yeah,
it,
maybe slide it.
but I just wanna do, if anybody has any
Even if it's-
suggestions, or you can tell me a way to make it so that it's.
Well, I think just the
In
issue is that
compliance.
it's the small rock. That's really why we got here.
Yeah, but
Probably.
that would be, I mean, who's gonna drive over the rock with the lawnmower?
Right.
Especially with the
Not
blade
very
runner.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah, somebody not very smart.
yeah.
There's no grass that would be butting up against that, and I would use the approved like rubber or material,
Yeah.
divider.
Yeah.
Well, when they do that, they usually set, like, when they do the pavers, they put concrete on the edge to hold it in, so it doesn't.
Right.
There's,
You and Nala.
oh, well, that's how they do every paper I've ever seen. Sorry, you didn't hear that.
I know, and there's so many
Makes sense.
option savers, like there's regular stone, there's natural
Yeah.
stone, there's concrete, so that's why I didn't really, but it said stone, so.
You're fine. Cool. Well, then I'll motion to approve it.
Second.
But I need exactly what you're gonna put.
But I don't have a great understanding on what the design is.
No.
It seems like she's okay with pretty much anything we approve. It's just what.
So as long as it's not to extend more than 3 feet, which is the guard guideline on the, from the side of the driveway.
It would be flush with the existing.
Flush
sidewalk.
with the existing,
And
and then if you could just submit what rock you're gonna use specifically and what stone you're gonna use specifically, then I think we'd have a better understanding of the color and the size and everything.
Yeah, it would be
But-
the color of our house.
Mhm.
In terms of like the natural stone, like a beige or something neutral, and then the rocks, the same thing. I'm not looking to use
Yeah.
lava rocks or anything crazy like that, just the brownish. Regular rocks you've seen my neighbor around the block has in Melanie.
So if you're gonna have your landscaper do this, could they just send us what their plan
I was
is?
gonna do it myself.
Oh, you're gonna do it yourself?
Consulted them on what materials to use.
Okay,
That would be, able to last throughout time, Florida is with the weather and everything like that, and then.
when you pick what you want, can you let us know what that
Yeah.
is prior to us?
Yeah,
So
sure.
we'll
Send it
do
to you.
a approval with that stipulation. Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
With
So
the, like,
then
a
it-
little
then it's a
design.
patty will circulate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't mind giving a temporary approval until we see what the final materials are.
Is there any type of rock or anything like that you would prefer me to use? Just so I have an idea, like in terms of river rock, I know that you were saying it wouldn't be pea gravel because that's really tiny and
Right.
small, and those fly out everywhere and stuff. It would be a little bit bigger of a
Yeah.
rock, just,
Yeah, so medium-sized river rock.
Yeah.
And then whatever the flagstone is that you're gonna use, if we just get an idea of what that looks like.
Yeah.
So I would say moving forward with a,
Did I put a picture?
You got this one.
Yeah, so then I'm about the big. Now, just this one is.
just that one.
I think I had a picture of the actual, when I went to the stone place, because I'm a little crazy, I love
Of the small rocks or?
No, of
the
the
big-
larger
yeah.
stones you have.
Yeah, we have a
like,
pallet
like-
of stone.
Yeah, that was just an idea, but I know that I sent, I can find it in the portal.
So when you find what you want, just either grab a sample or send a copy, a picture of it to Patty and Jen. And then they'll send it to a board and then we should be okay as long as it's
Okay.
not like.
Yeah, nothing
stone.
crazy or
Yeah.
anything like
Well,
that.
then-
It'll be very neutral, earthy, blend in with the rest of the.
Yeah, then I think we do it,
I don't wanna vote on, it. I just wanna know what we're going to approve, I'm not declining, I don't know what I'm voting on, so.
so it would be we would vote to give approval with the stipulation if we want to see the final materials. And that not to extend 3 feet beyond the side of the driveway with the final design.
And it's
So
not gonna extend beyond the side plane of the house.
you can't, yeah,
Yeah, just in line with the art.
yeah, with the art guideline.
That's the part I don't, I mean. all
Because
of that
everything else seems
sounds
to be
like
within
it's
our
in-
guidelines, we just would like to see what stone you pick.
Of course, of course.
And if you just send pictures of those along with, and you can just hand draw, like, this is my house, this is my driveway, and
Yeah,
this is
my
the.
survey.
Yeah, I have it too, it's really hard to see it.
They,
But just saying this, we're extremely responsive, so
Right.
send it to her, we're
so
not
this
gonna
is one
drag.
picture I had showed, just as
Yeah.
an example, to give you an idea of what it would sort of look
Yeah,
like.
which looks fine.
Which is fine, I don't see a problem with that, we just want to see what the.
And this is actual stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want
Yeah.
to see that.
Oh,
but
the
this is
sandstone.
On the coral.
Sandstone, yeah.
It's just sandstone.
Yeah.
Looks fine.
It's just a tan color. I tried to go with like the how, so it blends in.
I appreciate that, but I can't tell that from this.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, no. I wasn't sure what to do with that,
Yeah,
because I didn't know if it just had to show sort of the area.
So what do you wanna see? Just what the,
well, the kid showed us what the stone
Let me
is.
show you what the rock of the river rock. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
standard river rock from like Lowe's or.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's already strong.
yeah, as
so
long as
then-
it
then we're
matches,
good.
then.
Yeah, it's nothing much strong, just.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, neutral brown.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, then I amend my
I
amendment.
don't.
I need the colors and everything like that.
You need the names.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll need the name of that stone
Okay,
and the name of the rock.
so river rock looks like this.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, no, I just.
But in
wasn't sure.
your, when you resubmit, we just need the name of the stone.
Okay,
The specific name of the stone and
Yeah.
the specific name of the rock.
okay, the type in the name, sure.
And then we should be good.
Send it to Patty and they'll come to us and we'll reply right away.
Okay,
My concern is, so, no, and I'm sure you're a very handy person, but I've seen a lot of DIY home do-it jobs and they
Yes.
look very, very bad. I've seen some professional jobs around the neighborhood still look really bad,
Mhm.
so. Yeah, I mean, before I vote yes on it, I wanna see what it is that we're voting yes on. That's my stance. I mean, you made a motion, someone seconded it, so we gotta vote on it.
I don't think anyone seconded,
Mm-mm.
no, emotion,
Okay.
so.
So we need to have a formal plan of what it would look like.
Yeah. When are you trying to start the project?
soon as,
As soon as you say I can't.
yeah, as soon as you give me to go.
Yeah, I see that the line's drawn.
Yeah, before the water pipeline comes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even opposed to a different kind of rock, like, I don't know when it said.
No,
Is it
I
more
wasn't-
like
I wasn't sure what.
you wanna
type
see the
that meant,
finished
but
product?
Whatever type is.
Yeah.
Right,
That's the hard part,
it's
you're not gonna get
DIY.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a little more
Yeah.
scrutinous because it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So considering it's like a do-it-yourself, like we see the colors.
Mhm.
Would you be open to show us once you're saying we're complete and that way we can sign off on that?
I think you'll like
And there's a
it.
chance we may not sign off on that
I think
if it doesn't look right.
I promise. I
That's hard.
Yeah.
My home,
That's really the issue.
Right, we just want to make sure that it.
No, I
it's aesthetic of
understand.
the
You don't want
neighborhood
to,
and-
Yeah. Crazy.
Alright,
I mean, we had 7 fines this.
so it's
month,
almost like
so
a
you can see some
contingency
people
approval.
do.
yeah, like, what do you?
Contingency approval upon final.
Final inspection.
Yeah,
I mean, it just
Yeah.
has to be in line with the rest of the art stuff, I think,
Right.
So
Yeah.
as long as it's within the art guidelines.
which is the
That's-
36, the flush, the
Yeah,
stone that's already approved.
Agreed. Somebody wrote that properly, said.
Yeah.
Patty can-
I love that for you.
The concern is that it might not, is that, I just wanna.
No, we're just trying to figure out how it.
Yeah.
Work.
I'm just concerned with like DIY jobs,
Yeah.
yes,
And that's what I understand. Again, I would never, ever want something at my house that doesn't look.
Right.
Or in the neighborhood that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
you wanna give it a run?
Motion to approve with the stones that you showed, the colors, neutral tone, in line with the ARC guidelines for size and placement.
So you submitted to me, I'll send it.
And after completion?
And then after completion.
Final inspection.
Inspection?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll invite you all over.
I will second.
See it, we'll have to go.
all right.
There you go.
Second.
Yeah, second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
All right.
Thank you
Enjoy.
so much, I appreciate it.
Had the motion.
All right. Look forward to seeing the end result.
Take care.
We'll let you know that too. Thank you.
All right.
That's some pretty good navigation there, by the way, don't you? I think we made up a couple words in there.
I think so.
Okay, the next one.
Patty will embellish, it'll be beautiful when it's done.
Yeah, at the information.
All right, next.
59 for the.
Pressing, Henry asked that we press a little faster because we're getting into the evening.
Thank you, Henry.
Thanks,
Henry, you don't know, but 3.5 hour board meetings were
No.
like 3 years ago. You don't know.
I would have walked away from the board. Hands down. There's
All right.
volunteer and then there's just, yeah.
Now 5945 Caldwell Ridge, request a waiver of fines. Sir,
Please join.
Have a seat.
Shanti.
That's correct. Hello. Hi.
Hello. So we got your letter. Please consider my waiver request at the June meeting. So basically you have a bunch of violations. You've been given the fines for the violations and went through the whole violation process. Have any of them been corrected? Have you taken any corrective action?
Yeah, everything is corrected, but I did not know that, like, I have to come and notify here. That was the mistake which I did.
But you don't have to come and notify. You have to just do the corrections and then let Jennifer know.
Yeah, that is the thing which
corrections
got
are
missed,
done.
Yeah, like mostly everything is corrected maybe a week back because last year I was traveling so much for my job. So maybe it might have delayed like, week or so, but every violation was corrected, in kind of a week's time kind of thing. And I never verified there were fines, until 3 months back. I checked my folio, yeah.
Yeah, but the fines are sent to you via
True,
registered mail, so you do get them at your house and they have to be.
But yeah, that's correct. Now I was so traveling, I'm paid to the pension.
I understand that.
Can we pause for, Jennifer, have you recently inspected the home for these violations?
Pictures that the picture.
Have the violations been corrected? Jennifer says no. So,
The garage door is still not painted, the light is still askew, the tree that died has not been replanted with the appropriate tree. There's landscaping around the side of the house that's not been restored.
on this side here,
Yeah. No, I mean,
right here, and one was.
I want to come in. What is the garage color all about? I didn't get that.
Garage code, this is the garage.
Oh, yeah.
So, sir, you still have standing violation. Here's the thing, right? This has been a long-standing rule with this board is that we essentially, we don't really want your money. We want you to
No, true,
fix
like
it
I
out.
understand,
So if there's some misunderstanding on your part about what the violations are,
Okay,
after receiving 3 notices or so,
okay,
please call Jennifer. She's very
sure,
responsive,
yeah.
but we can't waive your fines. I'm not gonna motion to waive the fines. Someone else may want to, but I'm not going to, because you haven't fixed them.
No, I want to see those violations because
Okay.
what I was, the main violations, what I thought, what I read through, mostly my wife, she bought a lot of fruit plants. That is the main violation, and during the hurricane, right? The lot of shingles were kept there, which are actually not mine, my house was a corner home.
Yeah.
So others shingles were there also there. So it took time to clean it off. And those are the main things which I took care of that, maybe a week after. But this garage thing, which I maybe I overlooked that. I didn't know what first time I'm hearing it. And coming to the tree, right? What else? Tree got broken. I had an issue with I thought of speaking, I never had a chance to come and hear it to the board. The thing is, the original tree was somebody, my neighbor mentioned that somebody when they were reversing the car, they broke the tree, they make that dead, and during the hurricane, it collapsed.
Yes.
Now, I planted with the oak tree, but it is small in age, smaller one. Now also I have a oak tree, but it is small one. Everybody, if I try to call every contractor, to buy a oak tree, they're saying $300.
Is there a picture of the tree?
I didn't,
Yes.
I didn't see the oak tree.
It looks like a bush.
No, it's an oak tree actually.
What am I looking at here, Jennifer? I didn't see it, the photo of a tree, so therefore I'm not seeing a tree. Is this it? That's not it.
Yes.
That's not
the
it.
tree?
It's the tree.
Yeah, that's oak tree.
Yeah, that's the tree you put in.
That is not a
Yeah,
tree.
that's not a tree.
That is a twig.
That's not.
No, there's a standard like height which I need to.
It's gonna take 20 years to match the street.
So the problem is like, yeah,
Okay, so what is the procedurally, Jennifer?
like that I don't know, like,
Has he been sent to foreclosure for these fines yet?
No.
No, has he been sent to collections yet?
No. it was
Okay,
just tonight.
I'm gonna motion for one more month for you to get with Jennifer and understand the fines, and the next board meeting. You have to show some progress on fixing these things, actually, like,
They all have to be fixed.
she's showing the picture, like, you still have the stump on the side of the old tree that broke on the side of your house. There's
what
been-
is that, like,
This tree looks dead.
what is that, sorry, like the first one?
Here, this one, so these photos are
So on
from the
the-
day,
The side is the stump still,
Oh,
that
okay.
can't be there.
and then there needs to be plants
Okay.
along here.
There needs to be plants along the side of the house that are not there.
They were there when you moved in.
I don't.
That needs to be back to the way it was when you moved
Yeah.
in. The landscaping needs to be returned to the way the house was delivered to you when you bought it.
Okay,
So if if the landscaping has died and not been replaced, to replace it back to original,
Mhm.
you have 30 days to get it back to original.
okay.
If you don't get it back to original and all of the issues that you've gotten multiple letters for,
Mhm.
if they are all not fixed by the next meeting, the fines will stand.
Mhm.
If you don't pay the fines, then we'll move forward with legal action.
Okay.
So we've been patient. We've sent you multiple notices.
No, we got,
Traveling, I understand, I get it, but your neighbors
Yeah.
and the community also have a response, you have
That's-
responsibility
that's-
to them as well.
yeah, the first thing, like, the tree, like,
That little tree has to be replaced with a real, with
So, like,
a tree that looks like it belongs on the street. It cannot be
No, the thing is, the problem is like, when last year itself, like, my neighbor mentioned, like, he doesn't know the date. He saw somebody like,
Regardless of,
No, but like-
regardless, the tree in your parkway is your responsibility, whether it is from a hurricane, a lightning strike, or somebody hitting it with a car. It's still your responsibility as the homeowner to replace the tree with a similar like tree. Same size.
no, it was a big plant, like, how can I replace that?
Well,
Like,
you
it was a
you
big
hire a
tree.
landscape company to come out and put in a tree.
No, they're asking for $300, like somebody,
I understand that, but it's your financial responsibility in the community to replace that tree.
no, I agree with that, like.
Give me 1 second for motion.
Yeah, Mark motioned
Right.
to.
Okay, I'll second, and we gotta move on.
Okay.
All right, so 30 days.
So he's got 30 days to show correction or we take.
No, how tall the plant has to be?
Look at the trees on your street. It
So-
needs to match the trees on your street.
The trunk of the, that has to be at least this.
This big?
Mhm.
No,
It's a
if-
tree tree.
This big,
Yes, sir.
So we have a
the
motion.
new plant.
Yes, sir.
So we have a
No,
motion.
So
Wait, what?
motion is 30 days
30 days.
to fix it. So understand that the next step is if you don't fix it on your own and make it look good, then it goes to legal. And then what happens is the HOA has the duty, responsibility and authority to fix these things. And then bill you for it.
No,
So that gets much more expensive.
no, I know that, like, the thing is, like, getting this kind of, this size plant. Is.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
I
the
just
same-
had to do it too, man. It's not fun, but the hurricane destroyed a big palm in front of my house. It happens.
It's the same for
But
everybody. in the-
we gotta get moving.
Yes, so Henry
So
second.
I second, all in favor? Any?
Aye.
Yes.
If we don't have a
If you don't mind, can I
response,
get the
it goes
list of the violations? One more time, if.
Yep,
Send it to a mail,
Pardon?
All the violations, just to compile.
yeah, just like, verify it, like, one more time.
Jennifer, can you send them a list of everything that we need to have fixed? Thank you.
Okay,
Jennifer will email.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dangerous tree, all right, next one, save a tree, $3,100 for a dangerous tree behind the lake house.
Yeah, so let's walk on the property.
I motion to approve $3,100 to remove a dangerous tree behind the lake house.
Yeah,
Is there a second?
Second, I walked it with her too.
Any discussion?
No, we got the budget, we're good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Done.
Any opposed? What is Sunrise Landscape LQA?
Market, just to share something, what we talked about is you know, utilizing that when he comes out to actually just kind of do a quick inspection of all areas to see if there's anything else we need to take care of before.
Oh, landscape quality audit.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to make sure
No,
we're good.
the LQA is from Sunrise.
Yeah,
That's what Jen-
that's a
Jesse
different,
does.
I'm saying for Save a Tree.
Oh, have them
Like,
do the same
yeah,
thing.
just have them like walk around, see what else, just in case we need to get ahead of something before the hurricane, so we're not cleaning it up.
Got it.
Agreed.
Thank you for this. This is super helpful.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Tell him your turn. Go on.
Your team.
So the LQA is not anything emotional, it's just.
No.
FYI.
Yes.
And it looks nice.
Yes.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Maybe they
that
can
being
fight me.
said,
Yeah, maybe
everybody,
you could find the last one.
if you could read right here, sadly, this is my last LQA from Fish Hawk. You want to read it? Not you.
Jesse's
This is
leaving
from Jesse.
Sunrise?
Jesse left, yes.
Oh,
Yesterday was her last day, so she's moved on to another opportunity, but she wanted us to just express how much she enjoyed working with the board. With Patty, she worked with me here before I stepped away, so wasn't an easy decision for her, and she's made a couple comments and that kind of reflect that, so. I will do my best. I have a good working relationship with Patty, started this quite a few years ago. I have always done these landscape quality audits, but I just them more as a full team. Not something that I really brought to you guys' attention, but Patty's asked that I continue this tradition now because you've gotten used to it and like it, and I agree, it looks nice.
We love it.
and it's nice to show the community what
Love
you're
it.
doing, right? A
Love
lot
Do
of
my
it
best
is.
with
Yes.
the looping pictures, just
Yeah.
bear with me.
Before and afters are game on, like that's what we
I'll see
need,
what I can do.
yes.
No problem.
We look forward to it.
So obviously lots of things are blooming here. Turf looks really good because of the rain. The only thing really of note is that because we are back in the active growing season and it's raining, in the dry season, we're really not cutting a lot of shrubs heavy or doing any of that stuff because it's too hot and too dry. The crew has the green light now because the growing season to go ahead and start getting back on the shrubs again. So you'll have some progress with that.
Right,
I've been communicating to Patty. I think Sagewood was the one that I think Jesse was most concerned about doing some work this week and again on Saturday. To try to get a big chunk of it done, as well as, getting some better consistency and instead of like piecemealing it through. So bigger crew, more consistency is kind of the plan, but overall, like I said, everything looks good. She's got a pretty thorough little report here of pictures. So if anybody has any questions on this, fantastic. If not, Patty and I work really well together. So my plan is next week to just, come in here on Wednesday and Patty and I will take a drive to the community, just kind of level set between the two of us about,
right,
where Jesse left off with things and where I need to pick up and forward. So,
right.
My biggest concern right now is Pear Villas. Me and Patty were over there the other day and the grass, some of it's just bare dirt. And so I don't think grass is the right option. We need something like along in between the houses that is high shade tolerant plants.
Knows them all.
Okay,
The Fairbanks, Sam and I
yeah,
walked back, we talked about to do the motion, but that doesn't seem like it goes. It's not cost effective.
so something like we talked, like some shade tolerant hedges or something along the edges of the house. And then down the middle, maybe a winding
Right. To make
mulch
it a
path or
natural
something.
type
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Cause it looks really bad over there. So we gotta come up with something creative because the grass just isn't gonna grow.
Just dies.
Yeah.
And it, no matter what, and that's why we follow the friendly.
And I think the rain's doing
If you
it
meet
too.
with me, this way we can work something together, I can show you.
Yeah.
how
You end up with a lot of swamp over there, a lot of
Yeah.
water sitting, just the way that it was designed
Yeah.
by the builders, so.
Wasn't good for all.
We get it in my house, it's the runoff destroys everything. I try under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's press.
Yeah.
Nothing for Sandpiper, Sagewood.
Sagewood, we got a couple of discussion points on.
Okay, so the one is Ballinger Lawn Care spray head replacement as needed for $120.
So last year it came to us, last month, sorry, it was $160 for the 1 or 2, and I said. I wanted a better price, so as needed, he's gonna pull the pipe out in front of the hedges instead of behind it. So it's way done on an as needed basis. So
Okay.
it's not doing the normal, only as I approve them.
Okay, so you'll have, that's what my question is, how do we approve of them, how many?
So little by little, he's not gonna do it long.
Okay. Cause we have budgeted, $250 a month for repairs in Sagewood specifically.
Okay.
So if we're doing more than 2, then we need to discuss.
Yeah,
how we adjust
money's
the budget,
coming from-
but-
Okay,
So now the big one.
So nothing to vote on there then?
No.
Okay, so this is just an update.
Sagewood is who's just referencing it in between. No, you said Pear Villas.
Sagewood entrance revamp.
So when you drive up to Sagewood, you have the gate, and then over on the left-hand side by the first house,
There used to be a bunch of trees, they're no longer there. Two of the palm trees died and it's all dirt. So Jesse and I talked and left. And so this whole area, so this is the beach, so this whole area is the strip.
It's just
dirt.
Oh, that was just a thing.
Yes, exactly. So she came up with a plan to install some of the other plants in there, you know, she has it broken down with different ones.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money, we know that, but if we do NTE, we do $1,600 this month, we do $1,600 in the next 3 months.
Is that this area right here
Yes,
near the entrance?
Mhm.
Okay.
Don't have to leave them just dirt.
it's, yeah, it's,
So do it in a time process.
right.
How much money did you have?
So right now, we're about 2,600 under what we have budgeted specifically for the landscaping, for the whole year.
Underspent or
Underspent.
funded?
Underspent.
Okay.
We budget 3,750 a month though. So that's for the rest of the year, right?
Mhm.
3,750. So we have about 2,600 now that I feel comfortable with. The problem is that we don't know what like the monthly budgets are, so. I don't know how close we want to get.
So
So the
what
only
can
thing-
we break this down then?
Have we spent, what have we spent so far this year, Thomas? Are we under budget for the year?
Yeah, we're under budget about $500 a month, so we're spending about 3,200 a month on the area. So that brings us to about 2,600 under right now. Underspent
For the year.
for the whole year, yes.
Which would leave
Are
us
we
with
other areas?
right, from us.
Yes, let's just say other
Yeah.
areas
Yeah.
that potentially could come up that we would need that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that includes all the landscaping, so right, the repairs and landscaping services are included in that together, right?
And we have contingency if we need it, I think, right?
There is contingency, there is a reserve that hasn't been touched really, not the purpose, but, and then where I'm cautious a little bit on is the tree money, we haven't really spent any, but we also haven't we just started hurricane season, so that one's kind of hard to predict.
Yeah, but we may need that if we take stuff.
We may need it
Before.
So
Exactly.
I would feel comfortable using something like Patty just brought up, right? And then spread it over a couple months.
Yeah,
Um,
so like breaking out this 52 so we can approve in pieces. Yeah,
What do you think, Mark?
So if we do it in stages, if we end up with a storm come through, God, I hope not. But if we do, then we would have money left over because we wouldn't have spent it all.
Yeah.
We could then postpone
yeah,
phase 2, phase 3
Yeah. So we're
as
basically-
needed. I
we
think
could
that's
do-
a smart approach.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
approving about half right now.
Yeah.
And that's what we're underspent is half,
Yeah,
almost exactly half.
Is that something you guys could do?
Yes, Patty and I discussed it on Wednesday. This is a new one. This is something Jesse did, so I didn't see it, but I think the plants that you chose are perfect.
Yeah.
Native, they're friendly, they'll do good in that area. So Patty and I think the idea was this Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, we'll walk and kind of figure out
break it out.
exactly what portion of that she'd like to start with, and then we can.
Yeah.
we can-
So it's only approved not to exceed
Yes.
2,600.
Yes,
I
Okay,
think that's
phase
good.
1.
yes,
All right, motion to approve 2,600 for Sagewood entrance revitalization not to exceed 2,600.
All in favor?
Aye. Done.
Any
Uh,
opposed?
no,
No, there is one more tree in Sagewood.
No opposed, right?
Maple.
For $295.38.
Okay, motion
Yeah.
carries.
Yes, sir.
Maple removal and replacement with sod for $295.38
Is this
at
Westlake?
Yeah.
23998 Maple.
It's Sagewood.
Or sorry, the address is 13546 Circuit Crossing to install St. Augustine grass
Where is this at?
underneath the red maple that's dead.
Sagewood. So this is the
That's
one
it.
that we were gonna take out, that we replanted it twice and it just won't make it.
I don't see. the
Yeah,
plan.
this was, we talked about it last time.
I see this on the
Putting
agenda.
sod
Patty.
over it
Yes,
yeah,
For 300.
it's in your.
flying
packet.
blind over
Yeah.
here.
We talked about it last meeting.
It was $600.
Oh, I
and
remember
then-
seeing that tree.
Yeah,
Then we said we don't.
Didn't we say we were gonna?
yes.
Flush cut it and
It's
it's,
a car hit it.
I thought we were.
No,
gonna
it's
say-
out, it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So now it's gone.
Oh, so we don't have to deal with it anymore.
So we just need some sod.
Some-
Wow, so somebody just, we don't even have to flush it anymore. Somebody took it out.
Yes.
Car hit it, that's
In the, it was
fortuitous.
there,
Listen.
when I was going to meet with Jeff, it
Okay.
was there.
So I will make a motion
Yeah.
to spend $295.38 to put sod
I'm glad we funded
over
that.
13546 Circuit Crossings,
We
dead
totally
maple,
funded that
which has
last
been
year.
mowed over and reput. I'm glad.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
You get down.
Oh, here it is, right here.
None opposed, motion
Yeah.
carries.
All right,
Old business,
You gotta remind me.
we have Westlake,
Westlake has a valve replacement, a 1-inch valve replacement for $353.95. My motion is to,
confirm this is the one we already did.
Yes.
We already paid it.
okay, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just
So-
ratifying it.
Yeah.
it's ready, everybody wants to pay that bill, also,
It's already paid.
it's already paid,
Nah.
or whatever. Do we need to motion that one then? No, it's done.
No,
Old business,
no.
nothing.
The telephone.
alright, so Nicholas Burrow, is that? Patty, what's the update on this? Do we need that company to do it and take 30%, or can we do it
I-
ourselves?
I
You
don't
had,
know
you
if
did
we
some research on this,
I
right?
did, I met with Deanna from, Big Fish Talk. And they actually had a company, but they had a company that they had to pay 50% to.
Oh,
30's the year.
30 sounds a lot better than 50.
And I was like, well, but they also get, they went with Frontier and they have a marketing agreement, so they get $20,000 a month.
Oh,
But they
top of
pay
cash.
on top of the cash, yes, but they pay 4,500 to the company every month. Oh,
they're still netting 15 grand a month.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's all gonna come down to the contract. We can negotiate how long the trail is, that they
Right.
deserve commission.
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
they're larger,
it's-
they're 4,300 homes, well, only
Yeah,
1,200, so.
But bottom line, he just wants another meeting to discuss more options. and
Yeah.
And I.
Eventually, somebody needs to sign something.
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
So just because we signed for them to get the agreement, which I'm trying to work on, I'm waiting for Spectrum to get back to me. I did
Yeah.
that Friday, I bounced around 6 different people. And they can get it for us. But once they get it for us, we're not obligated to them at that point. But
Mhm. Okay, so. Does anybody, because I'm gonna be the one that has to sign these things, does anybody have a problem with me signing things up to the point of?
finding out where the term.
Like, where can we, how far can we go where we can say, yeah, no, thanks.
that signature, first thing we saw, didn't put us in that, past that.
Right.
It put us to the beginning, which is, to me, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, from
That
what
was
I
just-
read, it
that was
just
just
allowed
for
them
review,
to
just to
request on
yeah,
our behalf.
just to get the documents so we could review them, no, no signage from that. We're not signing representation, nothing like that.
Right,
As long as we're not financially committed to anything, I'll tell them to go for it.
yeah, so there's an agency agreement and then letter of agency, so there's.
Right.
Those are the two different
Yeah.
forms.
Yeah, we'll make sure George looks it over first. and
Yeah.
then-
Yeah.
Totally line.
So if we, so the letter of agency. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Basically, why is it limited to PNG and the proposal bid forms are leading up to follow.
We're not signing this now, right? So let's read this
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah, we'll have
Let's get
Yeah,
there.
because we want,
community comments
Yeah.
next,
yeah,
because George is gonna review it anyways, right?
I think he's
He
already,
has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about companies actually doing this. So.
yeah. So it's just the initial one that we can be comfortable with to get some feedback from them.
Right, because that just allows them to,
Yeah, which is the
Yeah,
agency,
then I-
not the
yeah.
agreement.
yeah,
Exactly.
don't sign the agreement, sign
Yeah.
a letter of agent.
Yeah,
Let's press to community comments.
yeah.
Anyone online have anything to say? You have 2 residents online, it looks like.
And there's one of them, your wife.
Nothing heard.
Okay.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
All right.
Have a good night.
Very large.
Evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Why